Welcome to another episode of the Trainer Talk, where we try to help you achieve your health and fitness goals and gain back control of your life. Hopefully you like the episode. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you want, go ahead and comment or let us know any kind of topic that you would like to hear about. We would love to try to share more information to help anybody in our local community gain back control of their health and fitness. So enjoy. In today's episode of the Trainer Talk, we dive into why it is that people go to the bar. This is a very common thing, especially in our hometown. So we want to dive into the actual reasons as to why we like to go to the bar as a society and hopefully give you guys a different outlook. Enjoy. You don't have much experience of going to the bar, do you?
No, not too much.
You've been around bars though, right? Like
Yeah, I've been around, but
Been around the block.
I've been around the environment of the bar.
Right.
I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same thing if you go to like a party.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
It's really,
yeah.
you really could say at the bar, or why do people go out and party on the weekends?
True.
If you
Yeah.
don't go to the bar, you can't go to the bar yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I think that's a big thing in our culture.
Yeah.
In like this area, like that's a thing
Especially
to do.
like in summertime,
Yeah.
bonfires,
Mhm.
Bonfire, shed parties,
all the 4th of July parties that just happened, boat parties,
camping,
camping.
like it's all just like social gatherings, but
Mhm.
it's definitely our culture really does focus it around alcohol, and it doesn't really need to be, but it's just developed into that over years, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like they have more fun when they're drinking alcohol, or they get to the point where they can't have fun without alcohol. And they feel like they need it
Yeah, or
to have
you
a good
feel
time.
like you're being judged if you're the only one not drinking.
Yeah,
If you're out at a social event. I've always said since being pregnant, it's like the best excuse not to drink.
Yeah.
Because before, like I would always feel like I at least have to have one to kind of like fit into
Right.
The crowd.
society.
yeah,
It's just become the norm.
Mhm.
People associate fun and socializing with alcohol, I think.
Yeah.
Especially around here, like there's not much to do.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the movies, you can go to fast food or the bar.
Mhm.
And or you can come here.
yeah,
It's like the one
Right.
other place.
Golfing, but then that's
Golfing,
even centered around
yep.
drinking.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
everything's like drinking is accessible to a lot of different areas, like golfing, bowling alley, like
Mhm.
just like different things where you really don't need alcohol to have a good time at that point. And then
Mhm.
like when you said pregnancy was like a best excuse to like
Mhm.
not drink, like it's weird that we've come to a point where if someone's not drinking, we think something's wrong with them or they're pregnant. Of like, oh, are you like trying to get sober? Like, do you have a problem with alcohol? Like, why are you not drinking? And
Yeah.
I think it's such a weird thing.
Mhm.
And then, like, unless they have some sort of reason, like, oh, I'm pregnant or oh, I've had problems with drinking before, then they just think that it's weird. And then you kind of get like outcasted like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's true.
I had noticed that when I did 75 Hard and we went out to our Labor Day family camping trip, like the whole family, like that's all it is, a big party.
Mhm.
And I couldn't drink or eat anything unhealthy. And I got a lot of people, like they were making fun of me and like kind of giving me a hard time for like the first day. But then like the second day, it was kind of fine. Like they were used to it. And then by the third day, they were like asking me about it. And like, so what do you got to do? Like they were all interested in it.
Yeah.
So I feel like if people just like gave it a chance a little bit,
Mhm.
it would become a lot easier. But
Mhm.
why do you think people go to the bar or like do that? Like, what do you think the reason is behind it?
I think for a lot of people, it's like a stress reliever. It's to take the edge off after a long work week. Yeah, I think that's the two biggest things that I
Mhm.
see or hear. I
Yeah.
just personally think people do it for,
Mm-hmm.
and just to hang out with people.
Yeah, like that part, and then celebrating. Like that's
Yeah.
a big thing of like, obviously 21st birthday, it's a
Yeah.
big one, but I mean every birthday, it's like a lot of people they'll get party buses or
Mhm.
they'll even just going out to the bar
Mhm.
for, even if it's one drink or something, that's still such an association with birthdays or holidays. Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving is like the biggest
Oh, yeah.
bar end of the year.
Mhm.
And so using that as a way to celebrate and like obviously relieve stress, cut loose, have some fun, which there's nothing wrong with it. But when you do it every weekend and then like you go to celebrate and it's the same thing that you would still do every weekend, it's nothing necessarily special at that point.
Right.
And then obviously, people can celebrate with alcohol. They can use that to have a good time, to cut loose and, use it to de-stress and just be social. But if it's a crutch, kind of like you were talking about earlier, if it's a crutch to, you have to do this every time you go out, or it's a usual thing, then it's really not healthy in that way. Like I think there's a spectrum of like, there's obviously like the far end of like the alcoholics or abusing alcohol, and there's the far end of never consuming alcohol at all. But then somewhere in that range, you kind of have to find a sweet spot of, okay, enjoy sometimes, but not make it a regular thing, not center every celebration or every time you go out or socialize with having alcohol.
Yeah.
Every single weekend.
Yeah, that's kind of how my family and friends are. Like every time we get together for any kind of family occasion, it's like, hey, let's have a beer or two. It's in what it really is. It's not about drinking the alcohol. It's just the way we socialize. And so
Yeah.
when people go to the bar, I think you spot on. Like they want to blow off some steam and kind of de-stress from maybe their work and kids, things like that. But also they just want to find a way to socialize with other people, probably kind of in the same boat as them. And that's what it's really all about. Like when I think back to all the partying that I used to do, it wasn't about, drinking the most beer. It was like hanging out with your friends and having fun. So I feel like if we could just make different associations and find stuff where people could have fun with each other without having to drink so much, I think they would get way better results as far as their health and fitness goals, or just live a little healthier that way. But
Yeah, I think that you are more social when you drink, like naturally. Like
Oh, yeah.
people
Yeah.
go to events and they're all
Yeah.
uptight people, start drinking and then they loosen up and are more confident and social and just in groups of people. Whereas if they weren't, they might not be. And I almost feel like they're kind of hurting themselves by doing that instead of actually trying to work on their social skills a little
Right.
bit.
yeah,
And so
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Like I think you find out who your true friends are when you can socialize and connect with people without having to be
Yeah.
intoxicated.
Yeah.
Because like it's really easy to like make friends and talk and socialize when you're under the influence, like when you're a little drunk, But like to be able to do that and connect with people, I think you build the truest friendships when you're like connecting over something positive or something else other than drinking all the time.
yeah.
I 100% agree, because like, you go out to the bar and you'll talk to people and like everybody's super social and like, oh, hey, like trying to, have conversations with different people. And then it's like, if you were to see them outside of it, like I doubt you would ever talk to them.
Yeah.
Or it's like a completely different scenario at that point. And, finding something else, like finding the people that you like don't have to drink to enjoy their company, or you don't have to drink to be friends with them.
Right.
Like those are the actual friends. Like if you have to drink to be around someone, then it's probably not worth it to actually be around them.
Yeah.
Right.
I just remember like when I started doing CrossFit, so I started working out with you guys, and it was like a breath of fresh air to like do something and like build, a friendship with you guys and Katie and everyone else who would work out with us. And yeah, we're not drinking, like we're working out, we're doing something to like benefit ourselves and way more fun. Like you're not hungover and
Exactly.
Yeah.
Might be a little sore, but
you might be sore, but it's a lot better than feeling like crap the next day.
right.
And that's my favorite part about CrossFit and working out with other people. Like I was thinking about this the other day, like if 0 people from TH Fitness did CrossFit, I don't know if I would do CrossFit. It's the community And like I love working out with other people, knowing that other people are doing these things that I'm going through and pushing themselves through the pain that I'm going through. Like that's what motivates me and drives me, and like competing with other people kind of in a friendly manner, pushing each other, like that's what it's all about, the community, the social aspect of it. Because I mean, you guys maybe can agree, I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but like if you were the only person in the whole county that did CrossFit, like would you do it to the extent that you're doing it?
No, I've thought about it too, and I was just like, if I might like dabble in it here or there, because I saw, before I even came here, I saw the videos of like the CrossFit Games, and I was like, oh my gosh, those athletes are amazing, and I did a little bit, but I didn't have the equipment for it, so I would kind of play around with it, but nothing super serious. And then like I wouldn't have gotten into it as serious if you guys weren't doing it 5 days a week. And then you're like, hey, come train with us. And then that's what made it really fun, was like having the group workouts, which it's unfortunate that sometimes our schedules really don't line up as well as they used to in the beginning. But when we do get together for those workouts, it's definitely more fun. We're always joking around and messing around a little bit, just making it more fun, and you just feel very accomplished afterwards. And it's like you can have the same feeling of social connectedness and community through the workouts with other people as like drinking and going out. Like you could come in and get a workout in and then go to dinner afterwards, or do something during the day like golfing or something fun, and just have that social time with those good people, and you don't have to have the alcohol to enjoy their company.
Right. I think it's almost like human nature to be attracted to a community or group of people, or your tribe or pack. Like go back a long time ago, you're part of a pack, and like when you can find something like CrossFit or working out and be a part of a group of people that are a part of something that's benefiting them, instead of the group of guys that goes to the bar all the time. Like if you can find something else that's uplifting and working towards a better yourself, getting better yourself, like CrossFit.
I mean, and even within the realm of fitness, like there's so many different little communities, sub communities. Like you got all your power lifters. Like you can see all the power lifters when you walk into the gym. They all, they dress alike. They got the big jugs. They got the big old duffel bag with all their equipment in there. And then you got like the bodybuilders with the tank tops, and like they just want to be a part of a community. They dress the same. They lift the same. They follow all their idols and other bodybuilders on Instagram and Facebook. And same thing with us. Like if I could be walking down the street in a town, hour away from here, and if I see a guy in Reebok Nanos and a Rogue t-shirt, I'm gonna be like, "What's up? You must do CrossFit," and start a conversation with them, just because like that's the community that we built. We're a part of something bigger. So it's kind of like walking in the bar and you see somebody drinking. You're like, oh, hey, like cheers. It's like, oh, you see somebody in Nanos. You're like, oh, it's kind of like the same association, but in a positive way instead of a negative way.
Yeah, you kind of sparked a thought when you were talking about like going to the bar versus here. The almost like celebration of, oh, this guy got super drunk and then did this stupid stuff, and like they revisit it, and it's almost like a trophy of like, oh, they blacked out how many times. And like they'll revisit that and they'll be like, oh my gosh, remember this one time that so-and-so passed out and face down in the dirt or whatever. And it's like that's their celebration, or that's their like mark of success of drinking, of like how drunk you got or how like blacked out someone got sometimes. Whereas like here we think about, oh my gosh, do you remember that one workout that was super brutal? Or like we talk about our successes of like, oh my gosh, I just hit like Riley hit a 200-pound split jerk, which is like so cool. And then we had like a full conversation about all that, and that's a way more fun to talk about than just how wasted you get last night, like oh my gosh, like I did so much stupid stuff.
And even in that conversation, it's not like it was like the memory that they made of being together. It wasn't like it's like they're celebrating, oh my god, he fell down in his head, like that's obviously not the funny part. It was like what they did together, like that memory that they're going to have because they're, the friendship, stuff like that. So I think if people can just find, like you guys are saying, like find that same feeling of community, and like where you can share those stories, but in a different way, a positive way, people could, start going from a more unhealthy community or network to a more healthy network that supports their well-being, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think people like being a part of something
Mhm.
too, like
Yep.
whether it's a part of gym or like having an identity almost.
Yep.
So like when I was in high school, I was a football player.
Yep.
And then, when I graduated, I was like, I almost felt like I didn't have anything there. Like, what was I doing? And I had weightlifting, but it wasn't really. It was like more like a hobby.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was kind of missing it. But then when I started working out here, and after I was done at Delta and started the internship here, and so now I have that CrossFit running. Like I work out with you guys, so I have that something to be a
Yep.
part of
It's
now.
just all about community
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fitting in
Yep.
to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are a lot more social creatures than we want to say. Like, they talk about just focusing on yourself and like, okay, take time for yourself, and like we spend so
Yeah.
much time alone, but like on our phones feeling like we're connected,
Mhm.
whereas like actually going out and being with people. And I think that's honestly what maybe drives people to go to the bar, just because they know there's going to be people there, and they're on their phones socializing with people all week, and that's not filling their social battery. And
Right.
so they have to like go out on the weekends, and that's just the most convenient way to do it
Yeah.
for a lot of people, just because that's what's the most socially acceptable right now, or the most common thing to do. Whereas like if you made it, it's going to the gym 5 days a week, and you're seeing all these same people, your community, like your social battery is going to feel
Yeah.
fulfilled in a way different way.
Mhm.
And I think people are really missing out on that part of, I guess, the human experience
Right.
of
Mhm.
thinking that, I can just work away and not focus on the other relationships in my life.
Mhm.
Whereas like here, you're almost like you have to put the phone away, and then
Mhm.
there are people that they come into the gym and in between sets they're scrolling
Mhm.
Instagram and
Yeah.
I think they're missing a lot of.
right.
I feel like that used to be me when I just did
Same.
regular, whatever you want to call it, bodybuilding or whatever style I was doing. I had my headphones in and not talk to anybody.
Mhm.
And yeah, just a totally different world. Like coming here and playing music out loud for all of us to hear. And yeah, we don't really get on our phones besides to look at what we're doing next.
Yeah.
And it's like refreshing, and it is just, I don't know.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Because I went to a gym with my buddy in like Detroit area, and I walked in there and it was like weird because everybody had their headphones in, nobody was talking, and I'm like over here doing my squats. I don't have headphones, and I'm just like, what do I even do? Like, and it was definitely a different atmosphere.
Mhm.
So I think, but going back to like the identity, and then, like people, that's their kind of norm is like, okay, we want to go out and socialize, right? I feel like people don't think that they can change their identity. Like,
Yeah.
like this is just how it is. Like we just go to the bar every weekend. Like that's just we're weekend warriors. We try to just plug away through the week of work, and that's gonna be our whole life. Where like I feel like people don't think that they can change that, to an extent. Whereas like your identity can change. Like DeLorean went from all in football player, all of a sudden football's gone. So he had to find a whole new identity. Now he's a personal trainer, runner, CrossFit. Like your identity changes throughout your life, and I feel like people don't understand that that's possible.
Yeah.
So like for those, for people that want to change and become a healthier and happier version of themselves, they have to change their identity. So they have to become, okay, who do I want to become in order to achieve X goal? Do I want to be a CrossFitter, a bodybuilder? Like I'm going to join a running group. There's a lot of people that get together and like run.
Yeah.
Like there's even a running group in Deckerville now, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, so you just have to find your community, I think.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll start a running group.
There you go. I think Amanda and Jim and Melissa, like
Oh,
they
yeah,
run every
yeah.
morning. They should just start like a running
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
You make it here at 5 a.m.
I don't know, maybe.
4:45, warming up.
I could do it.
Good.
2 days a week.
Yeah. I could do it.
Yeah, you can.
No, but like for the identity, I feel like people they're afraid to change. Like sometimes I think that they realize that who they are isn't like the best. Like it's not good for them. Like
Right.
going out to the bar every weekend is not good for them. But they're afraid to kind of like reach out and try to like jump into the community. Like, you know, it's like going to a party and seeing a group of people over there. You want to talk to them, but you're a little afraid to like get in, like just joining in the group.
Yep.
And I feel like that's kind of what stops some people from coming in
I
and like
also
just
think,
switching
like,
over.
To like losing friendships
Yeah.
because you do.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I remember that was like the hardest part for me from like removing myself from those situations and those friend groups is like people don't always take that the best.
No.
If you start working on yourself and coming to the gym and being healthier, people can kind of they're jealous, they're jealous that they can't take that leap
Or they're
and do
not,
the same
yeah.
thing that you're doing. And I remember that like being one of the hardest parts, and it just takes time to kind of like build new friendships and
Yeah.
kind of let go of some of those ones that aren't the healthiest or the best
Yeah.
to be
100%
around all
agree.
the time. Doesn't mean you can't still.
I mean,
Talk to them,
I got
but-
friends that like are kind of like in that realm of like kind of steering me down the wrong path if I spend too much time with them. So
yeah,
I still associate and really good friends with a lot of people, but it's just very limited.
Right.
You know, a couple
It's not
times
all
a
the
year, or you know, we get together, have a lot of
Mhm.
fun, and we're still friends. But if I was in that environment every week, I would not be the person that I am.
Mhm.
That's kind of a powerful thing
Yeah.
to think about too.
yeah,
And I think that, like, when people go to make these changes, they face a lot of resistance right away because they've made their social circle around people that have those same habits.
Yeah.
And then you need to, like, that's just human nature, is to adopt the habits of the group because it's hard to be the outlier.
yeah.
And we want to be accepted and we want to have, you know, those relationships. And it's easy if you're just like, okay, I'm just going to fit in.
Mhm.
Everyone else is going out to the bar and drinking this weekend, so I'm going to go too. And then by putting yourself in a new environment, or at least a new community, that really helps with it, because you can get a lot of flack from, you know, friends or family members that are like, oh, why aren't you drinking this weekend? And you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
doing this thing, like, I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna eat any junk food, like. So then they were teasing you about it because it's a reflection on
Mhm.
themselves, kind of like what you were saying of like, oh,
Yeah.
like, is there something wrong with this, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
why, like, are you better than us or something?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And it kind of
Yeah, I mean-
like that's sometimes what it is, and maybe it's a wake-up call for some people, and like maybe shifting the mindset of like, oh, I'm getting away from this group. It's like, hey, I'm showing them that like you can change,
Yeah.
and that, you know, if you start feeling better, and if they're truly your friends, they're going to see that
Mhm.
they're doing so much better. Like they feel better, they look better, their overall mood's better because they're taking that time for themselves and making themselves better. So you'll kind of see and weed out like who is there actually in your life that like you want to continue to have these social interactions with, whether it is at the bar or maybe they'll come to the gym with you. Like I think that's like the biggest friendships are the ones that they're formed through the gym. If I'm being completely honest, is like
Yeah.
if you like working out together, like doing, like when we were training for the competition and everything, and doing that competition together, it just like it definitely like brought us together
Mhm.
for sure, and that makes you closer than like going out every weekend
Oh,
to the
yeah.
bar with someone, just because like you've
Yeah.
made so many different memories, you've had like struggles and successes around these people, and I think that you make such deeper friendships with those people too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like when you're at the bar, like when you're a few beers deep or whatever, and you're talking with somebody, you're not really who you really are. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of like a different
Yeah.
version of yourself. Like you're not as outgoing as maybe you normally are. So it's like when you're the example that you used, like this is who you are. Like you guys suffered together, you put in that work together, you form that bond. Whereas like, you know, if you meet somebody at the bar every single weekend at the bar and you've become with them friends with them there, but under the influence, like when you meet them in a different setting, it's almost awkward.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah,
like,
you
what do
don't
we
even
talk
know
about?
how
Like, we're
to
on a
talk.
beer in our
Yeah.
hand, you
Yeah.
know? I've experienced that anyways in the
Yeah.
past. Like I'll see
Oh, yeah.
somebody that outside of that environment and it's like you don't even know what to say
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's true. I think a lot of times too, like those friends who maybe like get jealous or mad that you kind of like step away are like the same people who a couple years from now are going to be coming to you
Yeah.
asking for help, saying,
Yeah.
how did you do it? How can I do it? I've had that happen
Mhm.
a few times.
So yeah,
yeah.
moral is like step out of your comfort zone, try to find a new community if you have those goals or if you're unhappy with your current situation.
Yeah.
And then don't worry about the people that kind of give you a hard time about
Mhm.
it. They're just maybe they're either not meant to be a part of your social group or maybe a friend or maybe they will be that person that follows along down the
Mhm.
road. But it all starts with us, right?
Yep.
Yep. 100%.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Trainer Talk. If you are ready to gain back control of your health and fitness, we would love to sit down and chat with you to see if we can put together a plan for you. All you have to do is head to TaylorHutchinsonFitness.net and book a free consult. Again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the video, and hopefully we'll see you soon.